and running before I do it, all that stuff. You too? Oh man. Yeah, it has been an interesting morning. Yeah, I know. Massive sell off. I know a lot of bulls were trying to catch the bid and they just got smoked. I actually scalped a few a few longs. You know, I was able to take advantage of getting a few longs in. All right, YouTube stream should be up now as well. All right, community, let's take a quick time out and look at the broader tape because we have some serious volatility out here today. If you are trading this blue sky eval with me, you need to know exactly what's driving the tape right now because the market is bleeding. Let's break down the big three moving the needle at the midday mark. The catalyst, crude oil, is going parabolic. So let's take a look at crude oil for a second. Pushing 96.65. We are up a massive 11% today, trading right around 96.69. This is the engine that driving everything else on your screens right now. We've got major geopolitical escalations in the Middle East, tanker strikes near Iraq, drone activity, and severe disruptions around the Straits of Hormuz. The market is pricing in a massive supply shock. Even with the news that the US and the IEA are coordinating a massive energy release from strategic reserves, the bulls are completely in control of oil today. NASDAQ is dumping. How does this affect us on the NASDAQ? When oil spikes 11% in a single session, Wall Street immediately hits the panic button on inflation. Higher energy costs means higher CPI, which terrifies growth in tech stocks. That's exactly why we're seeing the NASDAQ down over 1.6% for the day, shredding over 400 points to the 24,577 level. Sellers have been relentless, dropping us straight through key levels. If you're trying to catch a falling knife here, be careful. The trend is heavy. You might think all this geopolitical fear, gold would be catching a massive bid as a safe haven, and that has not been the case. Down 0.8% on the morning session, sitting around 5,133. Why? Because inflation fears from oil is likely sending bond yields higher. And when yields spike, non-yield assets like gold tend to take a hit. It's a tricky correlation day, which is why we trade the price action in front of us and not the news. So back to NASDAQ. Well, let's see. Let's head on over to that. Let's get to the 1 minute chart. So far, the rest of the session, we are keeping a very close eye on oil. If oil keeps squeezing higher, expect the pressure on NQ to remain heavy. We're going to stick to our setups, manage our risk tightly, and protect this blue sky capital. Let me know in chat when you guys are riding this momentum short, or are you guys sitting on hands waiting for the bounce? Cut the 2 a.m. run up. That was the most of my cheddar. Man, I got chopped up in the overnight session again, man. I'm not gonna lie. I just got annihilated in the mornings in the overnight session. Took some major hits. Yeah, no. One of my algos was in one of my accounts and it put me like massively down. And then I was already red in that, and I just started trying to rescue it, but I didn't have much leeway, like a few $100s. I ended up blowing that. And then I was done like 600 on another account. I've been able to pick at that, and I got it down to 344. So I'm down 344 in another account right now. So yeah, it's been a tough day. Why what? Why what, Ron? I'm not sure what your why what is about. Oh, why I lost money? Because I got chopped up in the overnight session, Ron. The range was so tight in the overnight session. You know, it kept looking like we were gonna. They got So I got caught in this. I got a couple of scalps, but then it was like, we would catch the bounce, and then you think it's going to get the continuation, and then you didn't even get to the 200. You just rejected. You just get that instant sell. I got caught in that kind of stuff. I'd be writing it, and all of a sudden, boom. And then I'm like, okay, I got stopped out. I got stopped out for like $10, $5 in the money. That was just a reoccurring event for me in the overnight, over and over and over. I just kept getting that. It's just like, dang, man. You don't like the Asian market? I like the Asian market usually. Sometimes it can offer you some great trades. I was hoping that we would, catch a bid and maybe, test the daily high in the overnight, but I mean that didn't happen till like 2 a.m. or something, and I was already tired, man. I mean, day before yesterday, I went to sleep at like 5 a.m. So like me starting off with you guys, I normally get up around 7:30. So, I only got like 2.5 hours of sleep before, I was just exhausted, man. I'm not a machine, man. I wish I was a machine that I could just do that kind of stuff, for you guys, but I'm not, man. And I'm 50 now, so I don't have the juice I used to have when I was in my 40s. I used to be able to stay up like 2 days and stuff, and be at the charts like that. And I just can't do it anymore, man. You just sleep until 1:45. Yeah. Well, I've got other stuff because I've got other jobs I do, so I have other work. I have responsibilities too. So, I'm like working like around the clock, I work morning, day, and night, so yeah, just tired, man. I'm a person, man. I ain't a machine, man. Yeah, I got a wife and 3 kids. So, I got to be dad too. Yeah, I trade across 3 brokerage accounts, and then I've got what, four, I got, I got 3 evals and 2 PAs I'm running as well. So, and then among my other accounts, and then I also trade a options portfolio. And then if I see a decent trade, I'll go for a trade inside of NQ or Bitcoin or Solana. So I trade across the spectrum throughout the day. I just look for where I can find strength in the market. That's always what I'm looking for. Getting that rejection now, pulling us back under Friday's lows. That's at 24,607. And we're 3 minutes past the London close now, team. Still not holding for that upside. Bears are relentless. Next week, I have a bunch of questions. Yeah, yeah. Drop them in chat, send me a DM. Don't forget, team, we've got a great podcast going on right now as well. So, if you guys are looking for insight, market prep for the week, we've got our podcast that comes out every Sunday morning. So definitely want to check that out. There's a link in the chat below if you guys want. That's our Spotify podcast. So if you guys want to check out our Spotify, check it out because we work really hard on that, myself and all the coaches to bring you that. Yeah, that's all 3 of the coaches. Well, I'm not the white guy, I'm the Mexican guy. So I'm on the far left-hand side. Yeah. Yeah, the other good-looking guys, they ain't me. I'm the old guy on the group. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think Coach Matt and me are like close to age. I am like I'm very Castilian. That's the Spaniard in me right there, man. Yeah, because I'm Spaniard and French, and then there's like 10% Mexican in me, but I'm considered Mexican down here. But really, I'm more of a man without a country, you know? You know, in Mexico they call me a freaking gringo, and in the States they call me a freaking Mexican. So I don't know where I belong. I'm kind of like I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Like if someone tells me to go back home, I guess it would be literally my house. Go home. What, San Antonio? I wouldn't know any other place to go. All right, we're getting that sell now. Can we take a short on this? The seller's gonna take this down and give us a continued push. All right, I'm gonna get a little aggressive on here. I'm gonna put a short on this. I'm gonna see if we can get that continued sell. I like that we're under Friday's low. We're under the EMAs. Can we get some continuation and just a little cascading selling, or is this a load up for the bulls? We still got some support down at 24,574. All right, can we get that prior low? Short America. What's up, Nacho? Good morning to you, my friend. Good morning to you. Oh, I'm gonna do my best, bro. I'm gonna do my best. Not gonna go under this. You're probably right, Ron. You were right about us not going up the other day too, weren't you? You were like 110% right, right? You told us we weren't gonna go up, and then we ripped. I'm gonna counter trade you today, bro. I got out of my call. You gave me FOMO that day, dude. You gave me so bad of FOMO, man. Then that's just the disadvantage sometimes of hanging with other traders, is that they can really throw your bias off. I remember like sometimes I would be like struggling in the day and I'll just like dip out of VC because I just got to trade for myself. I'm like, all right, I don't like this. Let's scale back into this. Spot on that level. I see it. The wicked orange, man. The bad thing about it is we're in a very manipulated market. You got a lot of people just saying whatever they want. Oil is flowing, oil's not flowing. Ships are being escorted by the U.S. They're not being escorted, and it just keeps adding to that narrative. All right, I'm gonna add another con to bring my DCA into this. Oh, nice. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get that low. Mike just said though, we gotta break under. Stack another con in there. We need to get closer to the strike so we can get out of this. There's 4. Dang. Oh man. Okay. All right, let's see if we can. Oh man, this is really ripping on us now. Man, I'm gonna have to get out of this. Wait, let's see. Let's go 3. Oh man, this just went totally against me, man. Wow. It just ripped on me ugly. Okay. Boom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess Ron was right. Sucker. You're right, man. I am a sucker. You're right. I am a sucker. You punked me. You did punk me, bro. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. Nah, I don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, bro. I don't feel bad. It's okay, man. It's all good. Hey, you know what? Someone's gonna be a loser, and on a trade, there's always a loser on the opposite side of the trade. If it was me, better me than you guys. They trap bears. Yeah, oil is dumping right now. That's what I'm hearing. Man, what a day. The minister of Iran is saying that they are not laying mines. No mines. No mines. That's a nasty pullback, though. Let's see if we can get in on this. Let's see if we can start scaling into this. Maybe make up some of those losses real quick. We took a nasty $800 loss on that last trade. Jesus Christ. Man, they almost engulfed that candle, didn't they? Wow. Oh, yep. Exactly, Riz. There's always someone on the opposite side of the trade. I would say it's best to wait for extremes buying. Still made a lower high. Yeah, I'm trying to take more trades in the day. I I guess I'm not taking enough trades in the midday session. It's just a more difficult time of day, so I'm just gonna be taking more trades in the midday session with you guys. So yeah, I mean we haven't made up anywhere close to what we've lost here in the morning session, but we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can ride this. We're in a single MNQ con, so I guess there's something to be said about that. Maybe I guess. Let's see. Where's General? General is asking me what is going on. This is the range. They're going to run stops on the long after VWAP. There is always another bust. Dude, day trades are only good when it's short. It goes fast if there's a good setup. New York, lunch, New York, short, but there has to be a setup. I get wrecked staying in past 11. Yeah, I mean, most traders do. Most traders do, but I guess we're here to take the trade, so we're gonna find the good setups and we're gonna force it. If we gotta force the trade, we're gonna force the trade here. So we're gonna make something happen. If we're gonna do this thing, so here we go. No guts, no glory is what they say, right? Limit to 3 micros. Man, I seen Breezy taking 20 micros. Mike's taking like 60 cons. I mean, I need to step up my game. I'm riding the short bus, it feels like, all the time here. So I need to really step it up and I guess put on my big boy pants. We need some massive games. 60? No, I think he takes like 20, like no, he trades anywhere from what, like 20 to 30 contracts. It's not 60. It's like 20. I think what did before yesterday though, he had like some massive trade with like a bunch of cons, didn't he? He was like paper, or he was showing you guys. No, don't think that. Now, Mike takes massive size. We're holding. Will we hold this little bull flag here? Or are they going to give it up? Yeah, he'll do like 8 and then he'll go to 16, right? I think it is. Yeah, no. He's already big deep in profit, so he's able to take those big trades. That's the point, you guys got to get to that growth to where you all can take that, because he's just pointing out that, you could stack in real high with leverage and then, just a 10 points, you're rich. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of, those compound gains. If you guys are taking compound gains in your trades, it allows you to just slowly build that up to where you can get to that point. Capital, exactly. That's the capital game. Yeah, Vodka Net. I don't know if you hang out on my streams ever, but I usually use MNQ and I usually use 3 MNQ cons. So that's exactly what I use on a daily basis. Thanks for pointing that out, though. That's why if you notice right here, we're actually on MNQ. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm actually trading MNQ here and with us right now. I'm not even trading a full size lot. Well, there come the bears stomping this back in. Okay, let's get back in there. Now we're like 2 cons in. Let's grab one more, get our DCA properly into it. Oh, these sellers, man, they do not want to let this thing go. I'm not really sure. You blew an account yesterday, almost passing a ninja. Insta tilt 5.52.5K. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I got 2 evals that are very close to. I got one eval. I got 125K that I'm like less than $1,000 away from passing. I have another one that all I need is $300 to pass it. Yeah, I usually do 25Ks though. I don't do the 50. I don't do the really bigger account. I've got my Blue Sky 200K static. Yeah, I prefer the 25Ks. Your worst zones it's a very big tilt zone. Oh, nice. You got the static funded. Sweet. Yeah, you know what? Everybody's enjoying those. Why don't I go for the bigger accounts? Because you can't afford to buy those contracts. So why would you want to trade that? That's my thing. If you can't afford to buy a NASDAQ con, why are you trading it? That's what I say. I mean, that's my core belief. If I want to get good at anything, I want to get good at what I have available to me. Like I already know, and I do this. I trade in my live accounts, MNQ cons, like all the time. So why would I expose myself to more risk? I mean, look, 3 MNQ cons right there. I'm up $170. I've taken out almost a fourth of my loss for the morning already. At the end of the day, I know I can go to AMP funding, an actual brokerage, and with like $300, I could trade like 2 MNQ cons. I could trade 1 MNQ con, and I have a few $100s of drawdown for myself. And how it's just like anything else. There has to be the fundamentals and the basics that you have to master, and I believe that the mini micros are that. I mainly trade MNQ. In evals, I trade full size lots, but then on my self-funded, I trade MNQ. But then since I've been with you guys at the very beginning, when I started streaming last year with you all, I used to trade full size lots. But then there's a lot of traders that they're not. Most of the community, they're all losing trading NASDAQ. It's just the brutal truth. Most of the guys that are watching on the interwebs, they're on social media, they might even be here in the Discord. You guys are blowing evals, maybe not even funded yet. So I can't show you guys trades on that because it's not fair. All I'm going to do is give you guys FOMO, and I'm going to teach you guys to use a higher leverage indice. You're not going to benefit from that. Me sitting here every day teaching you how to take a full size lot on anything with a godforsaken amount of contracts is stupid, in my opinion, because most of you guys are novice traders. You all don't have 6-7 years under your belt. And then you guys are going to get tilted, and then you're going to end up blowing accounts. And I'm doing a disservice to you guys. I'd rather show you guys a smaller lot size, show you guys some great trades. I mean, look at Breezy yesterday. Breezy killed like a $2,100 trade with 30 mini micros. I mean, that's 3 full size lots. Don't get me wrong, but he scaled into it. You know, those are good, valuable lessons that you guys could be learning from. You know, how to use a mini micro, start scaling into the position, build it up to where you are getting that. And my thing is that if I can pass a 25K account, I can pass any kind of account. I know I can pass a 200, a 300K. I've done it before. It's just that I want it to be easier, and I don't want it to take as much time. You know, $1,500 in profit, that's not a lot of profit. That's not a lot of money if you stop and think about it. You know, we get back up to the top of this range, you know, we could probably be up $1,000 with just these 3 M and Q cons. I would almost practically kill that. Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't blow accounts very much. Now, you know, the real problem I have usually is my algos. You know, my algos can take me out, and you know, take some disastrously terrible trades. You know, the best thing I could say is just size down. You know, if you guys are struggling, you know, if you're like, you need to make money, it's the worst combination to be a trader. You have this need and this drive that you have to do X, Y, and Z. You have to perform to this level to meet, certain milestones for yourself, you know, whether it be, make that profit target or whatever the case may be, and that can be a really tough thing. Yeah, I'm hearing that Bitcoin is starting to move. Let's switch over. I got IBIT on here. Bitcoin is up 0.3% for the day. Wow, not bad. Did it hold the overnight? It did hold the overnight. I tried to go long right here last night. I got stopped out like in the money because it went up and then boom, it just dipped again, then went below. And then I just left it alone. I was tired. I was like, I'm already in like so much other crap. I was like, I'm exhausted. Yep, that's the way you do it, Affluent. That's the way you do it. That's exactly the way like Tipped and myself did it. Even like Tipped, he's in a self-funded. I think General is also going self-funded as well. Yeah, and that's what makes, Blue Sky so awesome is that, we're one of the few brokerages that are still moving traders over to a funded account. Yeah, it's really sad that a lot of the props are getting rid of that, man. They're just getting rid of the, you know, going to funded accounts, putting my stops in the money. And I'm not putting one stop, I'm putting 3 different ones so that if I get taken out, it's one contract, not 2 or 3. Hmm. Excuse me. Well, I think going funded is the best thing you can do. You know, I mean, at some point you're going to have that growth, and you want to have a lot of the limitations taken away. You know, I think that's probably just a personal preference, vodka. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the and the PAs are great because it allows you to leverage your money in ways that you couldn't. Oh, going straight to funded? I mean, I guess if you have money for it, I wouldn't recommend anybody to go straight to funded, though. I don't know many traders that do that, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Why would you want to go straight to funded? But you know, folks are funny out there. Oh, Blasky's got a code. He says use code dashboard for a $50 credit. What is that? $9 launch plans? Are you serious? $9? Dude. You guys heard that on the interwebs. Dashboard. Log in today at Blue Sky Pro and get that 50K launch plan for $9. That's insane. We never have sales. We've never had sales that cheap, I don't think. Yeah, $9. No, I don't think it's a static. No, that the launch plans are not static. More like, man, I was seeing stuff that they were saying that in 2050, a can of Coke is going to cost $10. You know that? I didn't even know that dropped. Good eyes on that, Blasky. It's like I'm going to get stopped out on this position now. It's like the Bulls don't want to take us. We got 2 minutes. Oh my God. Well, there it goes. And that's why we have separate stops. We're still somewhat in this. Man, I can't believe they came out and took me. Yeah, there's not a launch plan that's 200K static. They're just launch plans. All right, we got a minute for New York lunch. I think a few folks said we were going to sell into New York lunch. I think we might just get a slow grind up. We've already sold so far off, you know? I think it'll be easier for upside than downside. Will this stay intact? Look at that, man. Having those individual orders saved our hide. Otherwise, we would have gotten stopped out on that. You believe that? That's one thing I've been doing as of lately. I used to have like a sell order with like a bunch of contracts with the full amount. We're holding for now. Getting that move. Let's see if we can get our continuation. I like the 200K static though. That is probably one of my better. That's probably my favorite account that we have here. Lunchtime. All right, team. Welcome to New York lunch. You know what that means. We could see a choppy session, or we could see some kind of displacement and possibly an expansion test of the range. So we'll see here. So far, the market does look like it wants to push to the upside. We shall see, though. Goes the NQ getting that rejection, stuffing it back down. Nice. Congrats. You got a launch plan for how many can we get? You bought a 200K? Yeah, I'm going to take a look after. I might just load the boat. I wish we could get more accounts. I wish we could at least get like maybe like 5 to 10 accounts. That would be cool. I would like that more if we could have like 5 to 10 accounts. What do you guys think? Would you guys prefer to have more accounts? The capability to have more? You'd like 5? Yeah. Like at least 5 accounts, You have 3 max. That trade's working out well for us now. Saw that stop out, saved us. Man, I tell you guys. Not too bad though. We're up $100 on this MNQ con. Where do you guys like to add a con? Do you like to add a con on the pullback or as it's getting the expansion adding on? Thanks. And why would I prefer the 200? Because it's a static account that gives you the most growth. So if you're looking for if you're patient, I'm pretty patient person. If you're patient, you can grind it out, and it's the closest you can have to like a live brokerage account. All the way through it. Well, there you go. 200K static is only $29. That's the best. That's an incredible deal. The consistency rules and the overall rules to pass that eval probably make it one of the ones that, if you're a novice trader, it'll give you the most room for error. You can, think about it. You only have to make about 1.9K a day to pass that in like 3.5 days. That's all you really need to make in that kind of account for it to really go. Wow, look at us go, man. Man, you guys won't even believe it. I was actually gonna buy. Oh my god, why does it have to be like this? Like I was gonna scoop those up. I was gonna pick up those IWN calls, and they're sitting at $1.71. I had my buy order set. And they're sitting at $1.72 now. Oh my god. There's too much stuff going on though. Oh Lord. You need to go back to options. We've got stocks. You guys can buy stocks with us now. You can use Volumetrica and you can trade stocks. I wish we could get options. Options would be insane. No, I don't do my taxes with Webull. My wife does my taxes. Yes, yes, that is Webull's platform. Yes. Well, look at that, Ron. You got that straight line up, bro. I hope you took that trade, bro. Yeah, we're just managing this trade right now, trying to see if it's going to hold for us. Nasty rejection here on the market, pulling back significantly here. There's 24,661. Almost out again. Poor General. He's sheesh. Man, what are they gonna do? Kamikaze this market here? Oh man, I guess they forgot they left me behind in that trade. So of course they gotta come and grab me, right? The market can't rip without stopping me out. That's for sure, right? The IRS got you. You posted that like 15 minutes ago. Well, it looks like it's 2 minutes ago. It says on the time stamp, it says 11:06. I just saw that right now. I'm sorry I didn't point that out sooner. You wish you were sized up. I mean, it really depends on where you're at. Vodka. I mean, you made money on it. That's why I don't want to trade anymore in my options account. I'm up like 7% for the day, and usually I'll get my 1-2 trades out in the morning, and then I'm profitable, and then if I go back in, I'll lose what I've made. So I'm kind of missed it. And we can shake the sellers off the market. Look at that. Coming into New York lunch. Yay, look at that. Wow. Look at that engulfing candle. That is disgusting on the 10-minute. Look at that. They just engulf that little baby bullish candle. Wow. This is disgusting. You know what, Ron? It also ruins my confidence in your technical analysis, bro. You know? I thought you were gonna make us a ton of money, Ron. Bro, I thought you were gonna take us to Valhalla, bro. I got my Viking gear on. I'm ready to go. I'm like the techno Viking trading over here. And that's why you don't marry your bias. But you're stopping the money, manage those positions. That's unfortunately what happened to me the majority of the morning. I've gotten stopped out most of the morning session, but in my accounts, I'm still green. So it just becomes hard. That's where like you guys might even struggle as traders is that you get stopped out and you're protecting your assets, but at the end of the day, you're still creating base hits. Your compound gains are so important. Especially if you want to be in this game for longevity. You need those compound gains because they'll add up, especially at the beginning of your career. That's right. That's right, RQ. We want proof. We need to see a ring, or we're gonna send you home. And I know what you're gonna say. I'm already home. That's disgusting. Breakout, fake out. Oh my god. 76. Yeah, he had a second. It was close to green. We attempt this long. Let's try this long again. We're under the 200. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try this out because yeah, I know. I like the rejection. Let's see if we can tap it again. 13 minutes into New York lunch. And don't forget, guys, this can be a chop. This can be some of the, most challenging part of the day here. We don't have institutional buyers, so that is a good thing. It's only retail. But, we're just hoping to see if we can catch a trend here before the end of New York lunch because, the end of New York lunch can turn very, very flat for us. Not that I don't want to ruin the games. Going to trade blue on Ninja. Shouldn't be trading that shit. There's no platform that is better for me for my style of trading. You know what I would honestly say? Vodka is give us a shot, man. Here in the next week, we've got Trade C coming on. And from what I've seen, Trade C looks really, really nice. It looks like a great platform, you know? The folks from Rhythmic spent a ton of money developing it. The AI tools that are integrated are awesome. So, you know, awesome. There's another $100 trade for us right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can take it. Let's see if we can make up those losses. Also, what pissed me off about Steve is that they won't pay my LLC S corp, only personal. So I have to jump extra hoops and assign the personal income as a business. It's stupid. If I was smart, I would have taken all those 6K out and I ended up with only 1.5K with 1K left. Blew out big last month. It's been 1.5 years trading every day, past 23 combines last year. Only kept four on poop step and one here on blue. Yep, that's a no go for me. Well, maybe we could talk to the team about getting more accounts, you know? If we can get, you know what, if enough of you guys want it, we can do it, you know, but we just have to have the community see that they want it. You know, Rich is in here. He's listening. I know Rich is listening, you know? Steve probably not, but Rich, I'm pretty sure is. So, you know, you guys just got to start saying, hey, what you all want, what you'd like to see. You know, we're only as good as what our community lets us know that they're looking for. You know, if you guys are looking for something of ways, if you guys have ideas of how we could improve to be even more of the best prop in the industry, then let us know. I mean, all of us, we have a weekly meeting on Wednesday of how we can improve our product lines for you guys. What can we offer you guys more as an added service? How can we go above and beyond, you know? A fresh towel? Housekeeping? Housekeeping? Right? I like this place for sure. I think five five some funded is a sweet spot. I agree with you. I think it'd be cool if we could have that many. You're tired of waiting? It's always a waiting game of Moro. You guys know that. Steve, send me your auto trader, homie. Shh. I don't know how you're gonna get that, man. It looks like we're holding now. I put my stop in the money. I put my stop at 24,630. But we've had some ugly volatility here through the whole morning session. So you guys be careful with your trades. Looks like the Russell is starting to get some volume to the upside. See two green candles on the 5 minute for it. Yep. Daily 250 payouts. Woo, woo. I don't blame you. Mm. Just wait till you see the new platform. It is really nice. It's going to give you guys exactly what you all want. Still holding. Still holding. There you go, Ron. There's Ron. He's got resistance. But you have all that. You have all that with the Trade of 8 accounts. All you have to do is log into your Trade of 8 account and you can set all that. You can put a daily max loss. You can put a lockout. You have all that available inside of the Trade of Eight side. So if you get a Trade of Eight account, those options are there. They've been there for like at least a year. I'm almost positive it's been there for almost a least. New platform is Trade C. That's coming here in the next week. We're hounding support like every day if we can get access. We the coaches haven't been onboarded. I think I don't even know who has access to it. I think Makaram and Rich have access to it, but none of the coaches. And there we go. There's that rip. Imagine if I was in three cons. Oh my god, that'd be like $600. I'd be like green for the day. Man, why didn't I get those calls? Man, those calls would be like, oh my god, there'd be so much money. They're at $2. They're at $2. I'd be up like 100 and I'd be up like what, like $120 per con. No, I would be up like $160 a contract right now. Yes, and Trade of Aid just released a lockout option, so that is on there as well. I'll be honest with you, I don't use lockouts. I don't use the lockout. I never use a lockout. But then again, I can pretty much say, hey, you know what, I'm done. You know, like last night I was at a loss. I was in a loss in my 25K and I stopped. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop, you know. It was just a few $100, but I can pretty much like, you know, buckle in and just, you know, I'm gonna stop. But then again, you know, I've burned myself. I've already paid that cost of education. Stopping here made 314 a contract. Nice. Per micro. That's right, Affluent. Have a great day. Congrats. Oh, look at that. You can get a pat on the back. Do you want a pat on the back though? And get yourself one of those guys. No, no, but for real, congrats to you. Congrats to you. That's a great trade right there. Not like me being foolish over here, holding on to this thing for dear life. About 5 minutes from the bottom of the hour. Ooh, there's that range again. Jeez. Rejected. Yep. I mean, that's how it feels like when Mike is talking about the price action, right? Because he's like saying what you're thinking in your mind, you know? Because that's how I kind of see it. That's what I'm thinking, you know? I mean, when he's calling out, you guys have heard me even do it, you know? I think you guys have heard me like the last couple of days. I've been calling like the price action like on a tick by tick. We're doing that a little bit yesterday. Yep. Oh yeah, it's very cool to hear how he calls it out. I like how I like how he frames it. All right, sellers back in control on this, stuffing us back down. Another another false breakout. God, I hope General got out of those contracts. Magic Mike. Yep, there you go. There you go. So, like, if you're already an experienced trader, then yeah, you know what? It may not suit your strategy to listen to Mike, because he's trading a different strategy, you know? He's on he's on the A1A, cruising, and you might be on Sunset Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? To different, they're both roads. They're both roads that you can drive on, but they have a very different course of path that they take. So you guys have to understand that if you're listening to Mike in the morning, you have to understand that he's trading a different strategy than you may be trading. So if your stuff doesn't line up with his, that doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong, because there's no wrong way to trading other than just not making money. Because you can still make money in a different trade than Mike might be taking, or he might be like, maybe I've been green on this and you've been writing it down, right? You're counter trading my current position, but I'm still in the position. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's in this trade right now. And that's just an example of what you guys can be experiencing with Mike. I'm in this long, someone else might be in this short and I'm still here. Maybe this guy has already taken profit here, whereas I'm waiting, or maybe he's waiting for it to go further down. It's just different trades happening in the market. There's different confluences and ideas of what price is going to do. There you go. You're a scalper. And I'm looking for the bigger move. I'm looking for the trend. I want to stay in the trade as long as possible to where I can capitalize on a bigger move, you know? And you can see we both get to the same, we're both getting to the same, idea. We're just trading differently. You're absolutely right. In the current market, with the situation with in being such a news driven market, the war is really throwing the kibosh into everything. It is, it is the snake in the grass right now is the war, because Coach Matt said this, the market can price in good and bad news all day long, every day. There's nothing wrong with the market processing good or bad news because it is black and white. This is what's happening, and these are the possible results of it. The market will act accordingly. This is what's happening, and this is what's gonna be the result in the market. But when there's like, well, we don't know, or there's news, or there's, maybe this is what's gonna happen, or like the current thing with the war. The real problem with the war is there's no real understanding on what we're doing in the war. Are we staying there another week? Are we going to be there another month? Are we going to be there 6 months? I have a funny feeling. For me, I think we'll be in the war till the end of the presidency. I unfortunately think it's going to be a very long, drawn out process. I don't think it'll be done in a month. And the unfortunate thing is that if he try, unless they're going to take the exit of, hey, mission accomplished. We won the war and we're out. The dog and pony show. Look, we had minimal losses. We inflicted maximum damage, because the narrative's there. That's already there. I don't know if he can do that. I don't think that will happen. Honestly, I really don't think that that will happen. I don't think we'll get a delay in the war. I try to. That's why I'm a hyper scalper mode. Yep. No, I agree with you on that. Vodka. I've been actually going round and round on that because, you know, just like I've seen this very trade happen to me overnight every day. This trade happens to me all the time. I always have this trade and I hate this trade because of it. It's frustrating, you know. But then I know if it really goes and it holds, I could be on a massive trade. That GIF is flashing. Which GIF is flashing on my? Is there something flashing on my charts that's bothering you guys? Oh, the one with the cat. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. The laser cat. Yeah, yeah. I saw it for a second. It was funny. No shot, right? And look at this. 2 minutes after the bottom of the hour, chopping around the bottom of the 200 here on the 30-second. Still holding though, still holding. Oh my God, man. And look at that. I didn't move this stop. I did not move this stop. I mean, look at that. It wicked me. It came after my money. Look at that. Why do they want my money? Why do they want this Mexican's money? There's a bunch of other money in the market. Go get someone else's money. Let me have some. He dragged himself into this thinking he will get a quick win, and he was super wrong about this. It isn't about going over. It isn't going to be over. It sucks. A ton of people would die. It might be. They are taking smart money out. You know what? They don't have to call me smart. If they want to call me dumb, I mean, I'm fine with that, man. I mean, I could take the insults. I'm thick skinned, I'm willing to be, some kind of special. I'm totally fine with it, man. This is that spot like he's talking about, we're talking about, those quick scalp trades, scalp this, wait for the next pullback, try to re-enter, you know. But at the same token, I want to see this thing fly, baby. I want to see this thing fly. This is the trade I've been shooting for I've been shooting for this trade all night, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been shooting for this trade since yesterday at 6 p.m. the Sydney Open. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie at all. It's the trade I'm looking for. My trade, I want to get right here. That's right. This is where Coach Rizzi wants to go. That's exactly where I want to go. Maybe I should add myself to the chart. I always add everybody else. There he is. Now we're on the chart. Everybody else is always on the chart. I never put myself on there. You can even see that. It's so dark. I grabbed a screenshot of that. No vale. I'm taking that off. I need a better picture of myself. Maybe I'll grab a screenshot of me or something. You know what? I think I got a little cartoon. You made $500? Hey, loan me 20 bucks, Ron. Loan me 20. Spot me at 20. Just kidding. Hey, well, congrats. Hey, I want to see that paid out bag. Where's that paid out verified roll, man? Let's see it. I see you in here dropping all them tidbits. Where's that payout roll? Don't forget, guys, if you guys can't chat inside the Discord, open up a support ticket with Blue Sky in our web portal and let them know that you want a verified role so you can type in chat. You're still on your eval? All right, soon enough. I want to see it though. I took a payout first time from Blue, waiting for it to hit Gusto. Gusto's fast. Did you pull it this morning? Well, congratulations on those. Let's see. All right, there. I'm on the chart now. Boom. I had to grab my little avatar. I got a little avatar a friend of mine made for me, so I'll put it right there. See, I'm on the chart now. See, I'm infamous now. So coach is waiting. Should have taken one before. Rise is better. Is it? Yeah, congrats. Should have taken one before. You a chola? I'm not no chola. I'm a cholo. Vato. See? No, a chola has a 5 o'clock shadow. I don't know what kind of cholas you're talking to over there. They got a 5 o'clock shadow, but I don't want to see her. Oh, that's pretty cool. Is that what you have on yours? I like that. Somebody's using that as their I could trade with that in the background. Put me like big time in the background. Imagine like me like being in the back. No, thank you. All right, well, we're gonna take Coach Riz out of here. I don't have no links to my OF. You know. Only charts. Yeah, if anybody wants to subscribe to my Only Charts subscription. This tree's looking pretty spicy here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, market is ripping to the upside. This is a great move right here. Can we keep it going though? Will the bulls continue to take it and fight? Getting the VWAP right here on the 3-minute. Well, we rejected it just a few candles ago, so that was at 24,727. So I'm gonna drop here and see what we're gonna do. I'm gonna raise my stop on this to the 200. They're at 24,640, and we're just gonna keep riding this to the upside. See, you know what? Why couldn't they have like the Three Amigos? See, the Three Amigos would be better. You know, the Three Amigos would be better because that's the way the market feels to me, you know? It's always like that. You know, that's what we're doing when we're trading. You know, we're doing that song and dance, up, down, left, right, side to side. I heard Mike talking about wearing crazy hats. You know, when we go on cam, I'll be wearing a sombrero while we're trading. All right, let's go take a look at crude oil. Sustained oil prices could hit global GDP. A sustainable. That's great. You know, crude oil still selling. You know, we're testing the 200 now here on the 5. Okay, so Iranians are basically saying is that many ships can pass through the Straits of Hormuz. Can't wait for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So as long as you're coordinating with the Iranian Navy, you should be able to pass through the Straits of Hormuz. So it's not closed to everything. So supposedly they have a navy. It depends. Well, no, there's no 50K static accounts. There's no 50K static accounts. You'll have to go to the funded phase and then you roll to brokerage. This is exactly what we're saying, Bob. What navy? Oh, there you go. Look at me. I love it. Chevy Chase is hilarious. Oh man. And that looks really great. I like it. You know what? It's all over the straight at the bottom. It is. I'm not a big fan of a white chart. I'm not a big fan. Like my friend Jay Wiz, she trades with a white chart. She's a psycho. She's a psycho, but she's a girl. You know, girl traders are a different breed. You know, girl traders are the psychology of a woman trader is very different than the male psychology. It's really interesting. You know, the way they manage their emotions and the trades, it's so different. I don't know if that's where like guys, us as men, we want the machismo, we want the, I killed this, and it almost seems, my opinion is it seems like women don't have that. Maybe that's just guys have that, um, guys want to have that, allure or whatever, they want to have that machismo, oh, I did it, and girls aren't that way, You love white charts? Brown charts matter, bro. Brown charts matter. No, I'm just kidding. I prefer a dark chart because I'm always in the dark, so I can't have anything that bright. Otherwise, I'm like, oh, I can't see. It's just like when I'm in VC and my friends are like, hey, take a look at this, and they got like a white web page or white chart. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't see anything. That's why my charts are black. All my charts are black. I love a black chart. I can't do a white chart. I mean, I could, but it's just not appealing to my eyes. And my theme on my PC is dark too. I got like charcoal and black tones on my background, but it matches my wallpaper. I think you could put picture. I guess you can't. Yeah, I guess not. Oof. Sellers stepping back in, trying to stuff us again. I was up $2 a contract instead of. Kind of pissed at myself. It was up $2 a contract, and instead of taking that, I put my stops so low. Oh my god! General's just trying to manage the position. Mm-mm-mm. I tell you. Hopefully you're holding up well over there, General. I don't even know where General is. I see him in voice chat. He's with my buddies. And don't forget, guys, we've got a great sell going on right now. I think what was that, Blasky? Let me double check that code. It's way up in chat now. Now I gotta scroll all the way up there because I don't even remember what the code was myself. Dashboard. That's right, viewers. If you guys are late tuning in, check out code dashboard and get yourself a $50 credit today from Blue Sky. That's right. It sounds like somebody hacked the coupon codes here at Blue Sky. And don't tell Rich. Don't let Rich know, because man, that 50 bucks might be gone faster than you know it. It'll go red faster than my trades. There you go, 200 bucks. Let's go. Congrats. Congrats, vodka. It looks like I'm about to get stopped out. Why? Man. Oh, not. Oh, you got it there now. Nice. I think you could just paste it and then you just send it to back. I don't think you can like, I don't think you can like have it as a background, but you can apply it to the chart, right? This can run the lows. They're trying. About 13 minutes till the end of New York lunch. You guys think that they're going to take it out, huh? I'm going to take another long on this since I got stopped on it. See if we can grab this to the upside again. Put a sell stop at the Friday low. $585 is the best long, but it also a sell area. Yup, it probably is a better long if we get that low. There's a bullish order block we're sitting in right here, though. This is all like a bullish order block till order block ends at 24,682. So you'd have to break below that low right there to get it. So that's why I got my stop right there. Let's see what happens. I'll be right back in a second. Well, we're in it. Move my stop in the money again. Put my stop at 24,639. We've been getting some nice scalps. So if you guys have been noticing, if you were taking some of those trades, you could almost like scalp like 50 to 100 bucks per trade, just like, vodka net. I think you were scalping some of this range, right? Sweet. But you'd have gotten some good points out of that. Maybe like 200-300 bucks in just a few of those scalps already. Limited risk. been green for the day. Yep. Wait for the 3 bar reversal. Mm-hmm. Dang, that thing ripped. Dang. Hmm. Why don't you use NQ for a range with stop loss? Because Ron, not everybody knows how to trade as good as you. Not everyone in this group is a professional trader with like 5 or 6 years of experience like yourself, sir. That's exactly why. I think I had kind of gone over that earlier as well, is that I have traders in here that asked me specifically to use a mini micro. So, and also since there's so many novice traders in here, I don't want to show them a full size lot to blow their account. I want you guys to have a fighting chance in this market. And if you guys are in here following me on a full size lot, I'm screwing you guys over. And my job is not to do that, sir. My job is to help you guys learn some good habits, manage risk with a smaller with a good lot size. And I think that, over the course of weeks, we've been doing that. Exactly. You're right, General. Screw that guy, man. I hate Coach Riz. What's up, my friend? But that's really what it is, man. That's what it is, Ron. I don't want you to. There's going to be people in here taking the trades I take, and I don't want them to blow an account right with the first trade I take. They're going to take that first trade. They're going to be down $200. That's not fun. That's not cool. That's not fair. That doesn't give you guys a chance to at least get a learning experience in the trade. At least I know if the market pulls back on me with a small lot size, we lose $20, $30. This is for learning. This is specifically for learning. You guys should not be just blindly taking the trades that you see any of the coaches, anyone trade. My worst trades of my career have been from following other people's trades. I've lost more money in bad trades following other traders' suggestions than following my own plan. Because then it becomes one of those that you don't know what to do with the trade. How long do you hold it? Where do you put your stop? Or maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you don't feel that I should have taken profit at the top. We talked about the scalping. I'm looking for the rip. I'm looking for the rip to the upside. I'm looking for the alleviation of pressure to the upside. But going back to my original point, the reason I take a mini micro is so that you guys have an opportunity to learn that if there are traders taking the trades, I'm going to make sure that they're not going to blow the account. I don't want anybody blowing an account under my time here with you guys. That makes me feel like I'm inadequate for you guys. I'd rather have you guys be impatient with me and call me out than I'm being a pansy and I'm not taking a big enough lot size. I could care less if you think that. I could care less if you think I'm a pansy for not taking a fuller lot size. I don't really care. I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm a wuss for taking a smaller lot size, because I'm here to make money. I'm here to protect my assets and be profitable on a daily basis, because this is what I do for a living. I do this for a living. I don't do much of anything else for a living other than trading. So I would rather lead you guys on a path that, it may be a slower grind, but if you notice and you hear the consensus among a lot of other traders is it's all base hits. Protecting your assets, because Ron, I may be wrong here, but you may not be rich. I'm not rich. I'm a working stiff. So I don't have money to be throwing away $60, $200 an eval 4 or 5 times a week. I really don't. I mean, I wish I had money growing up, coming out my yin yang, but I don't. I'm just like you guys. I have a set amount of money that I need to manage and make sure that I'm providing cushion and growth for myself. And I feel that this is the best way to do it. That's right. Cushion for the push. Probably. And that's the reason why. I'm not trying to be mean, Ron. It's just the truth of the fact. And really, if you want to go for a larger lot size, that's up to you. That's a risk that you should be willing to accept and understand. And you also have to base on how you're trading. And it all goes back to my original thing that I said earlier. I like to trade what I can afford. If something let's just say hypothetically, SEC steps in and says the props are gone tomorrow. Let's just say that there is a reform on trading and they say that prop industry is non-existent. Where do you go with what you've been learning for the past year or few years? What would you do to counter that? Did you learn anything meaningful that you could translate into the real world that you could apply to your actual brokerage account? Think about it. And that I think about the what if, because you guys know me, I'm an old Army guy. My original sergeant taught me keep it simple and have a plan within a plan within a plan. Colonel Al used to always tell me that. Colonel Al said he always had 3 plans. He had a plan within a plan within a plan. He always had 3 plans whenever he did something, regardless of what he was doing. And I took that I took that like he was talking to me, because he would always say it. And I've always established myself like that now, is that I need to, anything I'm doing has to be in a manner that I can apply it to what I'm going to do in the real world. And I can't afford 5 or 6 NQ cons. I'm not going to put my brokerage, my accounts in that kind of jeopardy, taking a 4 or 5 lot size, or even a full size lot, because at the end of the day, I don't need that. I've got what I need. I want my trading experience to be at these tolerable and bearable. I don't want to be here at the end of the day pulling out what hair I have left out of my head, breaking stuff in my office, breaking a keyboard, breaking a mouse, throwing my coffee all over the place because my emotions are getting the best of me. And unfortunately, that is probably the core root reality of it, is that my mental real estate doesn't allow me to take those big full-size lots. I can totally handle losing $1,000. I'm totally fine with losing $1,000, $1,500. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. I don't want it. I don't like it. I don't want it to be part of my day, but I can accept it and walk away and know that tomorrow I can murder it and get over that 1,500 and come out green. It's just like right now. I'm in an account right now that I'm down $344. I'm literally down $344 right now. It's in there. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. I'm down $344 in that account right now, but I haven't traded in a while. I'm talking to you guys. We're taking other trades. I've taken this trade on screen with you guys. I want to get this fixed. I want to resolve it, but I also have to realize is that maybe I missed a trade. Maybe I don't want to force a trade. Maybe I'm just waiting. I love being patient. I am a snake in the grass. I will come up and bite you when you least expect it, because that is what I'm good at. It's just like fishing. I don't like to fish in real life, but I love to fish in the market. I love to find value, sit there, find some cheap value and squeeze every cent I can get out of it. Get that $7 and turn it into $100. I love that. I love for that. But that takes patience. That takes time, What is my drawdown? Like on an MNQ con, I'll wait. If I hit like about $103, $104 in drawdown, I usually cut it around that spot. Because if I lose around that, that's about $1,000 in a full size lot. Or I kind of see where price is, and if I see that we're catching a base, then I'll start to scale it. My max loss for the day is usually about $500 to $600 an account. But then I also have other criteria that I need to figure out. How long I am in the eval. Am I coming up to renewal? Just different stuff like that. Am I still green in the account, or am I down overall? Am I below the initial starting balance? So then I really start to look at which way I should be doing this, Well, yeah, I mean, 500 is good, but I'm also trading mini micros, and it's different. And remember, I'm trading 25K accounts, guys. I'm trading 25K accounts. I'm not trading 50 or 200 or 150Ks. So I'm trading an even smaller account than you guys are. But that's why I set the 200K. No, I know General's my boy. We always do that. Oh man, that's tough. It's a tough game, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very difficult game. I think being a trader is probably one of the hardest things you can do. There's no college per se you can go to that will teach you. There's no trade school you can go to that'll teach you how to be a good trader. The only thing you're stuck with is people on YouTube and great communities, and finding, folks that are dedicated and passionate about trading. You know, I mean, that's the best thing that you could do for yourself, is find a good community that you can be in, that you can talk to traders. Yeah, that's it, Bob. It's just, scalping, nitpicking it, a little here, a little there, and you just start chopping it down. Patience is a huge thing in the market, and remember, being flat is a form of market participation. You don't have to be in a trade to be a trader or to be part of the market. You sitting there at your desk watching the market saying, you know what, I don't like this price action, I'm not going to take a trade. You've affected the market. You are a participant, even though you do not have money in the game, because you're keeping your money out of the game. So you are subtracting to that from the market. So don't get it twisted that you're not taking a trade. A lot of people sit here and they'll be like, oh, I got to take this, I got to do this, got to do that. That's not what trading is. Trading is a patience game. It's like, man, if you guys thought Donald Trump was playing 4D chess, ladies and gentlemen, we're playing 5D chess right here. Because you know what? There is a massive amount of obstacles ahead of you. You've got your own mindset, you've got your desire, and you've got your needs and your wants. You have all these things all these dominoes stacked against you. They're just waiting to get toppled down by bad decisions. And your objective is to, navigate around them without toppling those dominoes, because knocking down one domino will topple the rest of them. Like for me, vodka, I get frustrated when I've been taking losses, because, I'm like, oh, well, price should do this. We're supposed to do this. Why are we doing this? And that's where I get caught up. I can get wrapped up in, oh, well, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go short. No, I'm going to go long. See, that can kind of happen to me. I'll start flip flopping because I'll lose my bias, and I'll let myself get a little degenerate on the trading. So at that point, what I'll do is I'll just stop. I'll take off. I'll go outside, I'll go outside, grab some fresh air. Maybe I'll walk around the living room. I'll go, pet my dog. I'll go sit in my wife's, I'll go sit in our bedroom. My wife works from home. So I just go chat with her and we'll talk about something that's not even related to the market. And she won't ask me. My wife never asked me about the market. She don't want to know. And I think she knows that not to ask me about it. So she just leaves me alone about it. She'll just ask, how's your day going? I'm like, day's going all right. Absolutely, vodka. It's all about you. It's all about you. The market is all about you. The market does whatever the heck it wants. I've heard Mike and some of the other folks say, I don't care. I'm in the same boat, man. I could care less what the market does. I don't give two shits what the market does. It can go up, down, right. It can go in reverse for all I care. All I want is a trend I can make money. I'm not rich enough to care about I'm nowhere near rich enough or in a position to where anything I should really even care about other than me making money to pay my bills. And that's all I focus on. The tough thing about it is that, when to cut your winners and when to cut your losers. That's the biggest problem with this game. And it'll always be a problem, you know. But I feel that if you can hold your winners longer and cut your losers sooner, you can find a cohesive a balance of it, you know. And the most important part at the very beginning is learning the risk management, learning those key elements that you know what, you take the small base hits and every once in a while they throw you a bone and you get that massive win. Last month was not my best month, Ron. I'll be honest with you. February was horrible for me. My futures trades were great, but my options trades the last 2 months, like since the beginning of the year, I've been kicking my butt. You know, going back to that question about sizing though, if you're really dead set that you want those big bucks, you'll have to use the bigger accounts. That's what I would say. You got to do the bigger accounts. The only problem with those is that you start turning into where like you got to make 6 and 10,000. That's a lot of money, because you're gonna have the pressure of time on. You're gonna want to knock that out in just a few days because you want to get paid right away. And I think that that's where you start stacking the odds against you. I'd rather do the more difficult side, which is the 25K, and get there faster and reap the rewards of it. Oh wow, Amazon's got a 100-inch TV for $1,300. That's crazy cheap. I like to keep up on the super sales that are going on. No, it's a Hisense. I'm gonna go check it out on Amazon right now. Oh my god, it is. It's $1,300. Hmm, that's crazy. I got a 95-inch in my living room, but it's not like one of these brand new ones. I can't complain about it. I got it for free. I got a bunch of TVs. I got like I got like brand new TVs and boxes like in the garage and stuff. We used to do a lot of audio video. and technology installs for retail stores. So like we had a big project and we had a bunch of TVs left over. I couldn't get rid of them all, but I'm planning on building like a pool house in the back of my pool, on the backside of my pool. So I want to have a bunch of TVs out there and stuff. You want a class on the Dom and reading the tape? Yeah, we could do that with Coach Matt. We could definitely do that. You think we need it? Still learning. And Q's still holding this level. And look at that. We're 11 minutes past New York lunch, team. Hey, don't forget, if you guys didn't take lunch, get up, stand up, stretch those arms, get a fresh cup of coffee or grab a water better yet, because it's almost the end of the midday. Grab a bagel, grab a little snack, because we got a whole lot of trading day left, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, today is Thursday, and just 3 doors down after market close, we've got Coach Matt's mentorship class happening this evening. And don't forget, after hours at 6 p.m. Eastern, we got Coach Breezy and Coach Blasky on at 7 p.m. Eastern. For you pajama traders and traders that like the Asia, hope to see you all there. Hopefully some awesome price action happening here in the evening. I think we will. It's not. Yeah, it is. It's a 4K. It's a 4K 144 hertz. It's actually a great deal. 100-inch TV. That's nice. Can't see that far. We also need delta. If we can get real-time delta. Definitely. If you guys aren't journaling, then you definitely need to start. And you need to start asking yourself, why are you not journaling? If you're not journaling and you're losing, you need to understand you have no point of reference to reflect on your trades and review what your trades are. Reviewing your trades is not going over it in your mind. That is not reviewing your trades. You need to go over it in some kind of journal, look it over on the chart and analyze what you saw and why you took that trade and did X, Y, Z. If you are not, you're already starting off with bad habits because you're not documenting or notating anything. Any business owner has some type of journal. They all have some notes, company business notes, that they're writing all these things that they're creating their business. And you're no different as a trader. So if you're not journaling, documenting your time of entry, your confluences, your lot size, what your stop was, what your take profit was, and what 3 things you could do to improve on that trade. That is the key element to starting a great journal. Those few things right there will start to rollerball the effect of good trading habits. Because you have to understand, when you write something down, you are not just writing it down on a piece of paper or typing it in the computer. You are also mentally locking that into your long-term memory. And that is a very important thing, because if you're not putting things into your long-term memory, you will not learn you will not have that inner voice. The inner voice comes from your long-term memory. So how can you create a good long-term memory when you're not recording anything to help you fix those things? So please realize that some of these nuances that you may not want to do, that you may not like, they have a very positive effect on you. They can lead to the positive effects that you are looking for. Muscle memory, correct, RQ. You are creating that memory that, hey trader, I did this didn't work out. I'm not going to do it again. And this is how I can make it better. And lo and behold, that will come to fruition. You will start to realize, you'll be like, you'll have that, nah, I can't do. Oh, I remember I did this and it stopped me on. I lost a bunch of points. And then you're starting the process. Now you're starting the process. You know, you're adding to that library in your mind of those strategies, that risk management and that trade management that you're looking for. You know, just like Vodka's pointed out, you know, he's scalping this because he has that muscle memory. He already knows that the trade is going to go up here. The trade is going to go down here. So he's going to scalp here. He's going to take it here, but wait for it and see and take the retest again. You know, he's doing that. He also has the memory that, you know what, for the last 3 weeks, this has worked out for him and has been a positive strategy that he's curated for himself. See, he's trading for himself the way all of you guys should be trading for yourself. That is the most important thing. It's not learning from someone else. It's not learning what I have on my chart. It's not learning the levels that Mike has. It's not reading that book. It is you taking the time to look through your indicators, find something that it makes some sense to you, that you understand the underlying concepts of it, that it's clear and simple, that if it does this, you need to do this. If it goes here, you need to do this. If it bumps up here, you can do this, because then you're creating that reoccurrence that you're creating the trend for yourself. You know, you're going to turn and burn all the time. You know, I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind getting stopped out on the position, because I know that I'm going to get stopped out 10 times, but I know that one of these times it's going to go. And when it goes, I get to participate. I get to still sit in that trade and reap the reward from my patience. Yeah, definitely, Vodka. Do not over leverage yourself in accounts. You know, having 5 or 10 accounts at the very beginning of your trading career, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you in the long run. You're going to burn through more money. And what you don't need is the pressure that you've got now 5 accounts you need to pass in 30 days. You know, that's the problem with that. You're going to feel the pressure that you got all these accounts that you need to pass in the next 30 days. And you haven't even passed 1 account yet. So how are you going to pass 5 accounts in 4 weeks? You know what I'm saying? You just set yourself up for failure. Like, who are you? You know, you think you're Mike Tyson? You know, you're what? You're Evander Holyfield. You're going to go against Mike Tyson out the go? No. You got to slow your roll, man. You got to start off in those featherweights. You got to start off sparring first. You know, and like you said there, Vodka Net, you can pass 5 accounts and trading 2 micros in 30 days, but it takes time to get to that level. You're right. You know, at the very beginning, you want to focus on that 1 eval. Maybe, you know, like me, myself, I put limits. I'll do maybe 1 account a week. You know, I'm willing to blow 1 account a week and scoop 1 up. You know, but that's it. That's it. I can't do more than that. There have to be guardrails for me on what I'm going to do and manage myself and stuff like that. You don't want to be tilt. Vodka, the biggest part for me that I started really, really turning it around is when I started getting okay with what my gains were. I remember that I started getting to where I would have like a $20 gain on the day, $17. It's like, man, all week long, I made $20 on Monday. I made 17 on Tuesday. I made 40 on Wednesday, and I would do that. General used to hear me say that. My friends on my old Discord used to hear me say that. But that was me fighting because it was like, it's the base win syndrome. You get kind of sick of it. Nobody wants to just eat Campbell's soup every day. Everybody wants to make bigger money, but you have to realize that you have to suffer at the beginning. You got to get your learn on. And then slowly over time, it got better. I had my great days, but I had to get over the fact of being okay with making $15 on the day or $2 on the day. General hears me say it all the time. I mean, I have some days in my options account, I'm like down like 90%. And then at the end of the day, boom, I'm up like $2. I'm up like $1.30. I'm positive $1.30. Made up all my losses and I'm up $1.30. But at the end of the day, I came out positive. I made up for my screw up at the beginning of the session. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. No, I'm just kidding. I know what I did. But you have to be able to understand and realize what you are subjecting yourself to. I want to, mental health is a very important thing for everyone in general, outside of trading, everything. But it's not mentally healthy for yourself if you're doing these things to yourself, because you are harming yourself. You are hindering yourself from being what you could be because you're allowing your emotions and your desire, the sins. You're letting the 7 deadly sins take control of you. And that's probably the right way to look at it. You're letting the 7 sins take you and they will ruin you because they are sins. They are not the right way. They are not the way the righteous are in the market. Nice. Congrats, General. I'm glad to hear that for you, bro. He was dang close to losing it all today. He put it all on the line. But I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like that. Like I can already make myself feel like a fool. And the last thing I want to do is say I exposed myself to more risk and over leverage than I ever normally feel comfortable with. And I lost every cent in my account. I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling. I hate it. I don't want to feel like I'm going to throw up because I'm so over leveraged in a trade. You start getting that nauseated feeling, or you're like, oh my God. I don't want that. It's not, I don't want it, and it's not healthy. You're not creating a good, healthy trade environment for yourself. And that's why I don't do it, General. That's exactly why I don't do it. I took my second trades. I could have went back in that same trade you were in. I could have gotten there for, 83 cents, 90 cents. I could have been still holding it, been up like, a ton. But at the end of the day, I got to take my 7%. I think we all run into that, vodka, because it's frustrating, sitting here for so many weeks and months in the market, it's not going to give you what you want. Most of the time it won't. It's going to give you just a fraction. We got to take what we can get out of the market, get in, get our money, and get the heck out. Because hopium doesn't pay bills. The story about the runner that got stopped out doesn't pay for dinner. You can't go bowling with that. You have to take that money I always used to say you always take the money you see today because you may not see it tomorrow. That was always like one of my things I used to always say to traders. Yeah, it's like before, when I wasn't, before midday, like this time of day, I'd already be done. I'd be doing other stuff. I'd be working on my other projects around this time of day. I would not even trade again until the Sydney Open. If I haven't made my money by New York lunch, kiss it goodbye. Like my probability of making profit in options trades after like New York lunch goes down like, I have like a 2 or 3% chance that I'm going to make money on the mid to end of day. But I also know I can find an end of day trade in the last hour of the session and I can grab myself 1,000, 2,000% trade. Just 2 days ago, I was fairly down. What? I was down like 90%. I got a 500% trade, got me green. You know, it's just like that. But you have to know what it takes and what you need to find. You know, then it's like you have to step back, reevaluate where the best risk to reward is. And that's basically what ended up happening. I was talking to General, I was all frustrated. And I was like, man, what am I going to do? I need to make some money. I've been here all day. I've lost a good chunk of my cash port, but we need to make money. We need to make it back. Started looking at the chain. I'm like, you know what? It looks like I can start scaling in. So I started I started selling into the buying at the top of the range. And when you know it, we got a crazy flush at the end of the day. The unfortunate thing is I could have taken a whole lot more profit than I did, but I was too busy taking my screenshot and everything else that, I left a lot of money on the table. But at the end of the day, you know what? It's a different process for me. There's a different process because, I'm doing marketing. I have to get those screenshots so that I can put that on the socials to show, some of these things that we're doing and stuff like that. I don't get that rush anymore. The only time I get the rush like that is if I'm gambling. I only get the rush when I'm gambling now. The dopamine, I only get that when I'm gambling. I don't get that when I trade. I haven't gotten the dopamine fix in like a long time. Like when I take my trades where I'm like, yeah. And the only place I actually do get the dopamine fix is when I trade options. But my options trades are very, very different. The money I can make in options is very different than the futures trades. See, I used to do that with crude oil back in the day. Like one day I had a 20,000 day on crude oil and stuff like that started to kind of like, it led me down like bad paths because I was over leveraging back then. Will you believe that? So I had to stop because when I would lose money, I would lose like 5, 6, 7,000. And I just, yeah. How long have I been trading? 6.5 years, almost 7 years now? I've been trading full time, like 3 years now. Yeah, what I ended up seeing is that I was losing a lot of money on the evals because I was going so heavy. It was like, oh, I'm gonna take 3 NQ cons. I'll get half out. I'll kill half the eval right here with 3 NQ cons. Blah 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 blah. Boom, done. That was what I used to do because I like a 3 lot size, and I already know with a 3 lot size I can make. Yeah, I can kill that 1,500 like fast. You just need the right break. Yeah, yeah, and you're exactly right. One, you're making the prop money, which thank you. Two, you're not learning anything good. And it's all those bad things I told you about earlier. You know, you're frustrating yourself. You're not learning any good trade habits. You're throwing away money, and you end up right back where you started with the loss of time that you wasted doing that BS. Because at the end of the day, of all those things that you can replace, you can't replace your time. You know, time is the most valuable resource in the galaxy. There is no resource more greater than time. Time is the most valuable resource ever because you cannot buy more of it. You cannot acquire more of it. Once it's gone, it's gone. So it is a very valuable thing. It is the most valuable thing you own as an individual is your time because it is irreplaceable. So you have to realize that is that when you're doing those things and doing all those bad trades, over leveraging, all you're doing is wasting your time that you can't replace. Exactly. We trade our time for dollars that we can't buy it back. That's the scary thing about trading. You know what you need to do. Oh, I need this money to pay this bill off, to catch up on that, to do this, to do X, Y, and Z, right? But you don't have all the time for it. So, those kind of factors can really, really put you in a bad spot, and it'll ruin your health. Overall, it like I said, it's almost like you're setting yourself up for failure. That's why I say, if you guys are struggling, try to smaller evals. It's going to cost you less money, and the worst that'll happen is you pass a 25K. If you're on the fence or do paper trading, there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely, vodka. Enjoy your workout. Have a great day. If not, we will see you mañana. All right. We need to get back in this trade. What are we thinking? Can we take the bounce off the 200? I kind of like it. But we're just ranging right now. I definitely don't want to take a trade right here because we're at the top of the trade, at the trend. So, I mean, it would be better to take the short. I just don't know what we're going to do. Let's go take a look at crude oil. Crude oil caught a bid, still kind of holding. That's not good for the overall market. Bitcoin just kind of consolidating. It looked like a little bull flag there. Yeah, it looks like a bull flag. I haven't even checked to see if my algos got me in anything on Bitcoin. Check out MES and see how we're doing over here. Wait. Mm-mm-mm. Well, I'm glad I didn't go long on that because we'd be in drawdown right fast. It looks like a little M right there, though, on the 15. This could be like turning into like maybe a double top. Let's see. Nah, not really. 10, 9. Look at that barcoding price action. You can just see how manipulated the session is. This is terrible. Ninja Trader just released an app now to trade on the phone. Okay. That's pretty sweet, Blasky. You want to come up on stage, Blasky? You want to come hang with me? You're more than welcome to. I mean, I use TradingView, but yeah. I like TradingView. Yeah, no worries. Take your time, man. Whatever. If you want to pop up, you're more than welcome to. Ninja. I didn't like Ninja because I thought it used too many resources. Oh my goodness. What a day. About 25 minutes left before the top of the hour. The 148 calls are now at $1.58. Wow. 249s are now 98 cents. Man, I tell you. I wonder if we'll catch that bid here. It looks like it wants to actually start moving to the upside. You moved all your accounts to Ninja? Nice. I like some of the features of Ninja. I'm not gonna lie. I just didn't like the programming language. To build out, algos and stuff like that. You got to use their C plus, and at the time it was way more complicated than what I was in my tool belt. I'm not a programmer. I'm more on the support side, not the programming side. PineScript was just easy, and now the AI tools make it even easier to make anything I want. It's better now. I'm sure it is. It used to be cheaper. I mean, the only reason I trade TradingView is I want my charts available to me on any platform. All my charts, every single chart I've ever made, they're all available to me. I can open up, let's see. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. So I can go here, and I can open up layout, and I'm going to open up all my layouts, all these layouts of all these different charts that I've been working on over the years. Look at that. I got charts all the way to 2024, 2023. Probably even maybe 2022. Look at that. 2022 right there for y'all. That's how long I've been on TradingView. 4 years alone, I've been trading on TradingView. That's how far back. And I like it because I can go to any platform, any website, from a hotel, a tablet, phone, log into TradingView, and all my charts are there available to me. And you just can't get that with anything else. Yeah, AI will program whatever you want. I just got wrapped up in Pine, and I just didn't see a reason for me to switch after the fact. Can we get to VWAP up above? We got VWAP sitting at 24,721 now. Looks like the Russell wants to go. You still in those contracts, General? Dude, those 248s. Oh, they're at $1.73 now. Not bad. You're crazy, bro. Yeah, it just depends on what time you want to scalp on VWAP. I know guys that like to scalp VWAP on the 15. Like if you're in a choppy market, you can scalp VWAP. I know guys that specifically scalp the 15-second on VWAP. See, there's one right there at 11:20. The thing about it is you have to be real patient. You just have to be real patient. Wait for it to come to your spot and then attack it. Like if you wanted to, you could probably take this long and try to go for the VWAP move if you wanted to. You can put your stop below the 200. Let's do that. Let's take the long. We'll put our stop at 24,665. Put my sell stop right there. After 11. Okay. Yeah, just pop on in. Let me know, and I can focus on that. We can focus on scalping VWAP. That's why I'm always on the 15-second, especially during the consolidation, is because I'm just waiting for us to break out. And then if you want to scalp, then that's a pretense for it. Is I knew that the midday session during the time that I'm usually on, it's a terrible market. 9 times out of 10. This is like, if you notice, whenever Mike leaves his chat, what does he say? If you've made money, be gone for the day. Don't trade anymore. You're going to give it up. He specifically says that, so, but our job as traders is to identify patterns and find opportunities, manage our risk. Been doing that fairly well with the exception of that one bad trade that went against us, but we'll see. You're here all the time. It's like that at the beginning, Ron. It is like that at the very beginning. I remember when I first started trading, I used to be at the charts like 18, 20 hours, man. I just have charts on like all day long. And I wouldn't watch anything else. Occasionally, it would just be my Discord trade buddies, and it was just like YouTube videos and just Googling stuff. Trying to cram in years into, a couple of months, But if you're trying to make a transition and roll over to it, it's just one of those things you have to do, until you understand how to manage your risk, how to manage your trades, how to manage your emotions and all that. It becomes difficult. Oh, we just got stopped out on that. Damn. Whoa. That's some nasty news right there. General, I hope you had a stop on that, man. I hope to God you had a stop on that trade. You were up like $2 on that. Just have patience in it, Ron. I know that you want those crazy wins, all that stuff, but it takes time, man. You'll get there with it. Just trust the process. It's a crummy thing to say. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Least of all me. Trust the process, man. I'm sick of hearing that. But the truth is that you have to. You have to understand it. You got to take some losses. You need to learn the lessons that the market is going to teach you. Hey, there you go. Congrats. You took $1 loss. Okay. So be it, man. Thank God you still got that money for tomorrow, my friend. Hopefully tomorrow is a better day and we all make bank tomorrow. I kind of want to go after those 247 puts. They're 22 cents right now. If we're going to dump, Bob, you are right. Those lessons do come in wrapped in sandpaper. The problem with it is that, everybody that's out there, they want to make money first and foremost. They don't realize that when you go to college, you don't make money those first, years that you're in school. You don't make money in school at all. You don't make $1 except for that part-time job or full-time job you work while you're in college, right? And that right there, is the point. You're in school when you're trading. When you're learning and doing what we're doing right now, this is the education. This is the cheapest community college you will ever find in your life. Because, if you manage yourself right and you keep your costs down, you could end up changing not only your life, but your family's life. But you just got to be patient with it. You have to trust the process. Yeah, you got to go through it all until you learn. Everyone is different. You're right, Bob. Everyone is different. And the lessons we have to learn to teach us what we're supposed to and not supposed to do are very different for everyone. And like I had said yesterday, everyone values the dollar differently. The dollar goes a different distance for all of us. And that's what makes it so difficult to say, hey, you should do what I'm doing because this is what works. Well, maybe you don't understand it. Maybe the risk is too high. Look, Bob wants to take a full-size lot. Why aren't you taking 2 or 3 NQ cons? That's a risk I'm not happy to take. It doesn't jive with me. I don't want to be freaking out. I don't want to be losing my shit because I'm down $1,000. Oh my God. I don't feel like that. I can already feel dumb when I take a bad trade, but do you think I want to feel like a fool? Like, what am I, a moron that I went full size and now I'm like down $1,000? I don't want that. I've already done that. I don't have a dunce hat anymore. I got rid of that thing a long time ago because I've already kicked myself in the butt. I've already banged my head against the wall. I've already broken my keyboard. I've already broken my mouse. I've already spilled coffee all over the place. See, I've already done that. I've done that. I don't need to learn that lesson anymore. It's a lesson that, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. I'm trying to keep my cholesterol down. You know, it's just like that. You know, it's not about being mean or being rude or anything else other than just the reality of the fact. You have to learn to walk, crawl before you walk. You're gonna have to take those smaller lot sizes, and then when you feel comfortable, you scale in. You know, look at Breezy. He's over there with like 30 MNQ cons. I'm sure he, you know, I said it earlier. I'm sure he's not starting off that big. I'm sure he's starting off a lot smaller and then scaling in. So Ron, okay, so listening to Mike is gonna be kind of like it's gonna be difficult, maybe, because you know the way he's framing the market in the way he sees it. That's his mind processing the market. He's analyzing the market. You know, because we're all doing the same thing. You know, we're all doing the same thing. Okay, well, here's 24, 641. Bulls are in control, trying to carry it up, trying to get above VWAP. You know, if we can get to 641, that's going to get us back up to 645. There's 645. Now we're at 649 now. Can the Bulls take it? Bears have stepped back in, stuffed us back down to 644. Can we reclaim 650? If we get above 650, that should open us back up to 650, 850. You know, that's what's happening. You're hearing what he's thinking. That's exactly what you're hearing. You're hearing that whole thought process that a bunch of us are playing with in our mind because we're analyzing the price as it happens. You know, but you can't get FOMO and you have to stick to your guns. I know some traders that I can't chill with them in a voice chat because they will throw my bias right out the window. I'm very sensitive to hearing other people that when they say, "Oh, you know, this is what's going to happen." If I'm in a position that's counter to that, I'll pull out. I'll pull out my position. I'll lose my conviction in my play because it's like, "Oh, so and so said this." I'll be like, "Man, maybe I should just get out." And then it reinforces my doubt that I'm like, okay, well, I'm already green, so then I'll get out of the trade. And then I end up getting screwed. You know, I'm just like, oh, why don't I stick to my bias? I have my own trade plan. Well, you know, all of us are trading different ideas. You know, really the best thing I could say is that if you're listening to him, you have to just kind of understand his price action and follow your own trade plan. If you're going to follow him, you're going to have to take mini micros because, you know, he's at the very opening session. I've mentioned that before. If all anything, you should not even be taking a trade while Mike is talking and taking his trades. You should be taking the notes, getting the screenshots, figuring out what led him to that bias and where did he find these levels so that you can start identifying it. Because if you're chasing other traders' trades, I'm sorry, man. That's not how this thing works. You're never going to be successful if you're following other people's trades like that. You know, you're always going to be at someone else's mercy. You know, what are you going to do tomorrow? You're going to call Mike up and tell him to take a trade for you? I mean, that's not how this works. The Mike's off tomorrow. What are you going to do? You're going to be stuck with me. You're not going to take a trade because you don't trade with me. You trade with Mike. See, RQ knows the rule. You'll go to his house. Be careful. He's got those gators. He's got those attack gators. And he's got that mean chihuahua. Nobody pissed off me. No, I'm not pissed. I'm not pissed at all. Just chatting. But serious talk, you know? I know we got some folks that, you know, asking about different lot sizes. We're talking about managing risk. You know, we got a trader that he's got a little bit burned following Mike's trades, but Mike asked you all, if y'all are listening, you know, Mike asked you all questions because he wants to know that you all are listening, not trying to take the trade, because you're not supposed to be taking those trades. You should not be taking other people's trades. You should trade your own plan. You should trade what you see on your chart, you know? There's plenty of times that I hear Mike talking. He's in a trade, and I'm counter trading to him. I'm counter trading him, or I'm scaling into his runner. Stuff like that. No, no, no. You're all good. You're all good. I am pissed though. Maybe I am pissed. Yeah, I want you guys to be successful. I'm angry. Oh, angry. It I will put it to you like this. If you go out to this time frame, look at this. There's no clear defined pattern here to trade. A pattern trader, like you said, would be host. And there it is right there. That's a 15-minute for you. Like, what would you do with that? There's no pattern. If you're at the very infancy of your trading, you're a pattern trader. You're looking for all those patterns to trade off of. And that's what everybody's looking for. If you don't see it, you're getting hosed. But this is how the market makes money, though. This is exactly how the market by design does this, because it needs to gather up all the money it can before the big move comes. Like, we haven't gotten a crazy move today, and we probably will at the end of the day. It might come in the next 20 minutes for all we know, or the next 30 minutes. The market will move, though, but it has to accumulate enough money that it can just start squeezing. I'm gonna attempt a short on this. Put that stop right above. Buy stop right there. Oh man, I'm on ES. Why am I on ES? I never trade ES, or MES, I should say. I just like the way I just like the rejection that we're seeing right there. It's a nice little scalp right there. My stop back at the money. I don't know. It looks like the market wants to dip now. The Russell's already rolled under. On the 5 minutes, already under the 200. It's under the EMAs, the 9 and the 26 now too. Yeah, people, we were just talking about sizing and, risk and leverage, the combination of all those things. I was trying to explain, to some of the traders, why I don't use full size lots anymore. You've been with me for a while. Some of the other traders in the group have been with me since I started here. You guys have seen me change, from full size and then go into the micro minis. And the last few months, I've just stayed in micro minis, And if by chance someone does take a trade with me, like I said earlier, I want them to at least have a fighting chance to be in the trade. I don't want someone to blow an account with me. I'm human too. I make mistakes. And the last thing I want to do is lead people on a bad path. And if they're following my trades and taking it or see something similar, at least if it goes against them, it's not going to be $1,000. It's like, oh, we get a paper cut. I lost $20. I lost, $30. That's not bad. Steve's minion is talking. I can't hear it. I mute out that because otherwise I'll hear that. And I've got news feeds in my ear right now. So I'm listening to 2 different news feeds right now. Full port long? Man, you're crazy. Man, we're turning down. Look at the M on ES. Look at the little M right there that just formed. Psh, there's the M. Look at that. We're talking about patterns, and there it is playing out for us right there. No, actually, anyone picking it up? Something erratic movement. What was beginning? Oh my God! Look at that dump. Yes, yes. See, and that's the other reason why I like a mini micro, because you know what? You could take that trade and you don't have to be scared of it. Like I said, you go with the full size lot, it goes against you. You're gonna lose $25, $100, like in a point or two, right? it turns into $150 like so fast that you're like, what the front door? But at least something like this, you could be like, okay, I just took $50 right there. I'm done. I got $50 out the trade. And here's the thing. If you guys have been trading with me more than a week, 2 weeks or something, then profit target for the day is what? $200. $200. That's like a $60,000 job a year. If you do $200 a day for 21 weeks of trading a year, right? And I think it breaks down to like 295 days of actual trading. Hey, Google, how many business days are in a year? 260. So you're looking at about 260 trade days in the year that you could be. I mean, think about that. You're doing $200 a day. That's 44,000 a year. That's a great little part-time job right there. That's a nice little part-time job. You don't have to have a full-time job then. You could find a nice little side hustle, be pulling in a cool 44 G's a year as you start increasing. Get two accounts. You copy trade, you make $400 a day. That's where you want to get. Now where you guys are at that, you're going for those big marks, you don't want to set yourself up for failure. And that's kind of what we've been talking about. All right, team, we got about 3 minutes till the top of the hour. Hope you guys have had a great trade day. We've taken some badass trades here today. We've taken longs, we've taken shorts. Mike got you all to Valhalla. It took you all to like 30 G's today. Sheesh. Hope somebody got a screenshot of that. Somebody needs to clip that. We need a clipper. Oh, wait a minute. I think we're doing a giveaway, aren't we? I think we're supposed to be doing a giveaway here at the top of the hour. I should ask the guys how we should do this. Wait a minute. Oh, how can I do this? I'm going to do a prize wheel. Yeah, let's do a prize wheel. Don't put RQ on it. Oh, too late, bro. Too late. There it is. That's what I was looking for. All right. I already got the names that are in here. So if you guys are in, then so be it. That's it. You guys are done. Let's see. We got Jaja. Got Black Lex. Got Mark. Ron. General Degen. Got Big Al, aka MJ. Hope you're doing well, MJ. Mr. Positive. Woodward. Got Pete. We got Boba. OL Bob. Elsie. And KKS. Trading in price band range. Yeah. And look at that. Beautiful. We talked about that scalp earlier, right? And we did it right here. We just took the profit on it. And that's exactly what's been happening today. Can you take Big Papa's? Negative. Let me bring this on. Let's see. Oh, I didn't want to open that up. Let me take this out because I don't need the rest of my window in there. Let's see. We're going to add the prize wheel. Let's see. Window capture. We're going to call this source. We're going to call this a prize wheel. and source. Bam. Oh, not that way. I'm going to go this way. And there you go, guys. Now we got the price wheel up. Who's ready to win? Who's ready to win? Is that nope? Didn't I mean to do that. I can get the damn wheel on. I'm trying to get the wheel on mobile to work right because it's like smack dab in the middle of this whole thing. So I'm trying to get it just right. Oh, look at that. That's even better. And yep, there it is. All right, all right. I think we got it now. You guys ready? No, no, no. Me. Spin, spin, spin. Let's go. All right, guys. Want to thank you all again for joining us today. And let's pick that winner for a free eval today. Good luck to everybody. All right, let's see who the lucky winner is. Oh, Mr. Positive. Congratulations, Mr. Positive. Congratulations. Congrats to you on that account. Make sure you open up a ticket. I think the folks here at Discord will know that we got a winner chicken dinner. You know, we'll see. We got some more evals to give away. You know, hey, you never know. Flash giveaways could be coming. You know, the more folks we have in Discord, it means the more giveaways we can do. So if you guys are listening on the interwebs, then you know what are you guys waiting for? Jump in our Discord. The link is in the chat below. We'd love to have you. We've got some amazing folks, traders, coaches, all parts of the market. Yep, Coach Blasky. You know he's a good dude right there. So jump in, take a look at some of our great curriculum from after hour classes. Coach Matt going on this afternoon, his mentorship class. Coach Breezy on at 6 and Coach Blasky on at 7 p.m. Eastern, and me with the midday show. But I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. So don't miss that. We've got some great specials going on. Don't forget about that 50 off special going on right now. So if you're looking for a new eval, $9 for a 50K. Oh my God. As always, team, good luck in the market. I will see you all tomorrow.